Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Greencast World. I'm here with Ana Celia.
Hi there.
And as you can see, we're all Christmassy. She's with her Christmas dress in and with my little lights in the background. So this is another Christmas or another holiday special because we know that many holidays celebrated, not just Christmas. And this time we are going to talk about sustainable gifting. We hope that we can give you some ideas onto what to do and how to do it, but obviously it's always depending on your own preference. But we thought we could start with talking a little bit about presents, because this is the season of giving, and as we give presents, we want to make that person feel special. So some people might be at the other scale of eco-friendliness and might say, I'm not going to give you any physical presents. But for those who still want to do that, we must do it in a way that we're thinking consciously about what we're buying and what we're putting back into the environment, as we always do. So we have some stats here that say that we throw away 25% more trash between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. And this is not only presents, it's obviously all of the packaging, all of the wrapping, all of the food waste. We talked about food waste last time. So it is a very important time of the year to really, really think about what you want to do and what you're putting back out there. Remember that if you can't recycle it, you can't compost it, and you can't reuse it, it's going to end up in the landfill. And that's exactly what we don't want. So maybe we want to give something that it's called eco-friendly, but it's talking a little bit more about what we consider eco-friendly. So I'm going to leave Anna to talk a little bit about that.
Thank you, Jan. Well, you start saying or reminding that this is the giving season. So if this is the giving season, you also have to remember that Mother Earth is right there, so you should give her something. And respect is mostly what the Mother Earth is expecting from us. So let's remind this every time that we are organizing any holiday party, or let's remind this every time that we are buying something to celebrate with our loved ones.
Absolutely.
As you were asking now, we see a lot of right now, the market, the stores are full of eco-friendly things. Everybody is trying to claim that they are doing something good for the environment. And as we spoke many episodes ago, there is a lot of greenwashing, and we gotta be careful.
Very careful with that.
Correct. There is a lot of things made with recycled materials that are not necessarily eco-friendly. There are many stuff that they only have a cardboard sticker and they claim to do something good for the environment. So let's be careful. As Jihan mentioned, the best gifts are not even touchable, but sometimes we want to express our love through something physical, and there is when you gotta be more cautious. We wanted to mention exactly what sustainable means. We have repeated this before in the podcast many times, but in this moment it becomes more important because we are buying stuff for sure. So sustainability is when you are using resources in such a way that the future generations won't be affected. So it can be compostable materials, it can be stuff that will leave something good for the future. And it's a little ethereal and complicated, but as much as you try to do good, you will start discovering things. There is a bunch of information right there, especially on TV shows, a lot of information in magazines. So we are not pretending to give you all information in the few minutes that we have, but we want to focus, as Jihan said, in gifting. So how we are gonna do this, and Jihan will help us to do the first step.
What usually helps me on deciphering this, what you said, is it sustainable or not? The question that I usually make myself is is this going to end up in the landfill? That is my main priority. How long is this going to be in the landfill? Is it going to decompose naturally, or is it going to take 400 years? A couple of weeks ago, Anna and I always are talking on Instagram, on all of the platforms really, and I found something that it was about the whole debate, which we're not going to touch here, but the whole debate about having a natural Christmas tree or a plastic Christmas tree. And it really surprised me. It surprised me to see that it said a fake one, the plastic one, takes 400 years to decompose. That means that every Christmas tree that everyone has bought in the last millennia, it's still in a landfill somewhere. It hasn't decomposed. So these are the kind of things, whenever I'm going to buy something, whether this is a present or Christmas or something for my house, I usually think to myself, is this going to end in the landfill, and how long it's going to take for it to go away?
I want to make the parenthesis. Do you remember that was one of the first topics we started talking like many years ago when we weren't talking that often? I saw Jihan posting about that dilemma, and I had it the next year, and I remind she was in that dilemma a year ago, a year before, and I text her. I mean, what you did last year when you were wondering what to do. That is another huge topic. There is a lot of bloggers posting about that. We are not going to focus on that in this episode, but search before taking a decision.
Do your research. Do your research. Like we always say, that start with researching and find what works for you best and your situation, because everyone will have a different situation. Like I have a friend who lives in Australia, and she said to me, well, I can't buy a natural tree because first it's going to die because it's too hot. It's the summer over there in the Christmas. And also I just can't buy it. It's too expensive and it's not sustainable. So it always is going to depend on where you live and what are the resources that you have. But anyway, that's another topic. Let me go back to what we're talking about here. We're talking about gifting. I like to start, and I do this for everything. I have a list for everything. And I think the best way to get started is to do your shopping plan. Concentrate on your goals and on the presents that you need. Make your shopping list by person, take into account whatever it is, the personality, who you're buying for, what do they like, what are their needs. But make a list, and then once you know what you need, you can then do your research and find what are the brands or the places where you can buy the products that match your needs, but they're more eco-friendly or more sustainable, or they're vegan, or whatever it is that your needs are. But go with a plan, because if you don't go with a plan, you're going to end up buying a whole bunch of things that you probably didn't even need. So I would start with planning. Yes. What else do you think we should be doing?
I think we when after planning, after making that list of people and budget and what you want to buy, start making the plan. You can either do one whole shopping list online. If, for example, you are buying on Amazon, we have talked before that maybe Amazon is not the most sustainable option, because they are a big company. You are not supporting local, but sometimes, let's be real, is the fastest, is the cheapest, is the place that you can find everything. So you can use it. And as I mentioned before, I buy some stuff in Amazon, and when it's an eco-friendly product, they tend to wrap it in an eco-friendly bag as well. So it is not the best, but it's still. So if you are buying on Amazon or in another website, try to make the list and do one shopping at the time, one only big purchase at the time, because in that way, the carbon emissions that will be emitted, but that transportation will be only once. Yeah. If you decide something different every day, it's going to be another truck driving to your place to deliver to
bring one thing at a time. So
the same happen in terms of saving carbon emissions. The same happen when you decide to go out to shopping. So make a route of, I'm going to go to this mall, I'm going to go to this farmer's market, I'm going to go to this eco-friendly store, and look at the map, make sure of the schedules, and try to make a schedule and destinate one day for it. I know it sounds a little unreal because sometimes after you go, you get distracted and stuff, but that's why Jihan started emphasizing with having a plan and try to
Yes.
follow. Of
Plan
course,
ahead.
of course, about to enjoy their time as well. If you would decide to stop to enjoy a coffee, why not? But as much as you can, try to stick with the plan and save some carbon emissions because there is a lot of carbon emissions in Christmas, and you don't want to be part of that
Yeah.
big issue. Mhm.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about gift ideas. I know that you had a couple of gift ideas in mind. I have one or two. There's one big one that I saw today, but you get started with gift ideas.
Um, Reusable things that everybody needs on the everyday basis, but just make sure if you buy this that the person is really compromised, because if you buy them a lot of bottle of water, reusable bottle of water, and they don't really like to use it, so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. And the same, for example, with the aluminum metal straws,
Yeah.
is a very common gift from people that want to support somebody that is in sustainable lifestyle, but maybe you have a bunch of
Yeah.
them. So I will start always with things that are durable. So we were speaking a little bit also about stuff that are not necessarily sustainable, but they can last a long time, are in general the best gift, because the most important is making sure the person is gonna enjoy it, is gonna keep it, and that gift is not gonna end up in the landfill.
And that's a very good point. We were talking about this, so I'm going to say very fast. I had my family visiting here from the States, and it was the time to buy Christmas presents because they had to leave early. COVID is the big story. Anywho, I had to do a very fast Christmas shopping, so I made a plan in my head. I went to one store where I knew I could find everything, but then I had to ask myself, are they going to use it? Because if it was up to me, I would have bought things like the metal straws or like water bottles. But I know for a fact neither my mom, my dad, or my brother are going to use them because it's just not their style. So there's no point on buying something that, even though you think, oh, this is something to help the environment, but that if that person's just going to say thank you and then put it in the closet, then you're defeating the purpose. So try to find something that is durable, something that you know they're going to use, and something that's not going to end up in landfill. If you can't find something that is necessarily eco-friendly, like, remember, you're not buying for yourself, you're buying for somebody else in a sustainable manner. So I think that's something very important to keep in mind.
There is a couple of brands that I would like to highlight. My husband and I gifted each other for our birthday. It was a Waterhouse frames lens that are from the UK, and they made it with nets recuperated from the ocean.
Okay. Yeah, ghost
Again,
nets.
it's something that is not compostable, but there is an issue attended directly there, and they also donate part of their profit to organizations supporting the health
Marine course, yeah.
of the marine species. And also you will start seeing a lot of sustainable recycled things on the store. We already mentioned that is not the best option, but if you want to send a strong message to somebody that is not really into sustainable lifestyle, this could be a good gift.
Now that you mentioned glasses, that brings me to the one that I saw today, and I got really excited about it just because I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan of Jason Momoa, the actor, Aquaman, and he has a whole clothing line that it's environmentally friendly, it's sustainable, and also he gives part of the profits to different charities in Hawaii. But then today he launched with a company called Electric. He launched eco-friendly sunglasses. So just like sunglass frames that are made also from bio or sustainable resources. So he says, I'm going to get it from the press release. Each pair is produced from bioresin and comes in a recycled chipboard box that includes recycled nylon microfiber bag. So everything from the packaging to the sunglasses, everything is 100% sustainable, and the profits are going towards marine conservation charity in Hawaii. So that's what, when we say do your research, sometimes there's big brands out there that not only are using sustainable materials, but are also giving part of the profits to good causes. So that is something, you know, even though I know this might be considered plastic, not only is recyclable plastic, but also you're giving back, just like with the glasses that you got there. So there's quite a few brands that do that out there, and they're great.
Yeah, and visit the portals that has a list of many sustainable gift. Here in the US, you have Earth Hero. They have a bunch of ideas. Or visit your sustainable local store. There is probably one in every city in the world at this point, because there is a lot of people working on this.
Absolutely. Okay.
So time to put the gift on the...
Yeah, so we got the gifts, right? And then you need to wrap it. That's a whole different conversation that we're going to have right now. So you need to wrap your gifts, and a lot of people don't know that not all gift wrap paper are done the same way. So any gift paper that has glitter, immediately you cannot recycle it. So I would recommend you stay away from any glittery gift wrapping paper straight away. I tend to use craft paper, which is that little brown paper that you sometimes see lunch bags from. I use always craft paper, and then I decorate it with either by painting it with plant-based paints, or you can use little ornaments. And then the ribbon that I use, I have the same ribbon. I've been using the same ribbon for 4 years. So what I do, like, I cut the ribbon, I pack it up, and when people open the presents, I say, can I have the ribbon back? Obviously, you don't have to be that extreme, but, you know, at least if you're using the ribbon, I'm using it over and over and over again. And it's fabric ribbon. It's not the plasticky one. And I'm also using...
What is the name of the cabuya in English? You know the cabuya?
Yeah, it's... oh my God, I just forgot.
One of the most common is because it decomposes, and it is always like it gives the gift like a little country-ish style.
Yeah, I just forgot the name. It's the... oh my God, you sometimes use it to wrap food as well. We'll put it on Instagram, because we definitely I wrapped my gifts last week, and I used that material. I used craft paper. I decorated with the ribbon that I've been using since 3 years ago, and then I have little wooden ornaments that I also put in there, and then the person you give the gift, they can either have the ornaments and the ribbon and use themselves for something else, or they can give them back to you and then use them again another year.
Well, sometimes those ornaments, I saw some ornaments that you use to finish the wrapping, that you can then also put it as a decoration in your tree.
On your tree, yeah.
Many people also use a piece of tree and they put it because it's also aromatic. But in case you are not using a natural tree, you can also use rosemary.
Yes, I love using rosemary. It looks very cute, and it smells nice too.
If you are Latin, you can use cilantro.
Yeah, a piece of cilantro. Very important as well, which I had to this year. I don't use, the sellotape, the plastic one. I don't use that. I use a paper one. But when my mom was here and she went with my fiance to buy some plastic tape, they came back with that one, and I was like, okay, I have the paper one. But anyway, you can compromise. But I would recommend you pay a little bit more and you buy the paper-based sellotape, because it's not plastic tape. It works just as well as the other one, but it's not plastic, which means if you're using craft paper and that, you can recycle the whole thing afterwards.
I use that one. I use that one as well.
Yeah.
I love it. The paper is a huge deal, but there is also other ways to wrapping. There is one Japanese traditional, call it furoshiki. Furoshiki is
something, because we don't speak Japanese, so maybe we're killing the name, but it's spelled like that.
It's spelled like that, furoshiki, and it's about using fabric. It's using fabric to wrap which means that that fabric can be reused in another gift. Is any it's so much easier to save it apart and reuse it than try to do it with a paper.
Yeah. Or you can use it for other things too. Like you can use that fabric for anything else afterwards.
Correct. To save it, to also do maybe something for you if you have some abilities sewing. But yeah, it's something very traditional, and you can also find there is a few companies in Etsy here in the US, or I don't know which port are you
that do it.
for.
Yeah.
It's some in the United States too, right?
It's here too, as well as the US. But you know what I used last year and I love, because then they can reuse it as something else. And I know I'm talking about IKEA. We've talked about IKEA before. It can be sustainable. It cannot. It's, anywho, IKEA's tea towels. They're amazing for wrapping gifts because they look nice. And then afterwards, they can use it as a tea towel for the kitchen. I love using those. Also, Lush, the company that does all of the vegan, eco-friendly skin products, they also sell some. I think they call it knots. I'm not sure. But anyway, they sell some and they have different sizes with beautiful prints that you can use. And then you can reuse either to wrap your soaps, or you can reuse to like put on your head as a bandana. There's so many beautiful ways in which you can use fabric that is often it's I don't think people realize, and they don't use it enough. Like I love using fabric for papers, although I did wrap my dad's Christmas gift in fabric and he was just like, what is this? And I was like, give it back, I'll just reuse that.
Amazing. I mean, if you are not into this that much, just search in Etsy. They have amazing ideas, and at the same time you are supporting local.
Other things that you can also use, if you don't want to spend money on buying anything new, you can use newspapers if people still have them, because I don't really buy newspapers, although I do. The only newspaper that I actually buy is, and I'm not doing an ad, it's not an ad, it's called The Happy News. And this is perfect for gift wrapping because it's very colorful and it's very beautiful, and it's only about positive news in the world. So
you don't want to wrap this with somebody that was murdered.
Yeah, exactly. But you can use that, or you can use any paper that you've got hanging around, like newspapers, magazines. You can use that. What else can you use?
For my nephews all the time, especially for them. I start this even without thinking in sustainability. I used to do it in the comiquitas, in the cartoons section. Yeah, I used to save it for the whole year. It was many years ago, and I would save it to wrap them
That's a good. Also, if you have any boxes lying around, you can always use a box, a shoe box or whatever, and then just either paint it or put a ribbon on it. You can make it festive. Just don't use glitter, because glitter is a big no-no because of the microplastics. There is some sustainable glitter, but it's hard to find and it's very expensive. So let's just not use glitter at all. What else you can use?
And if you have a kid, well, it can be all ages, but mostly when they are small, to use whatever they paint or whatever they draw for a gift that for somebody that really appreciated, like their grandparents or their dad or their uncle. I mean, to use also what they paint, because I imagine you can save the first 2 draws that your kids do, but
but then there comes to a point where you need to get rid of them. And you might as well give them to somebody else like that. I remember when you're talking the kabuya, it's twine. People use twine, so you can, you can use twine as ribbon, because then you can recycle that, or you can reuse it for something else if you have little pieces of twine hanging around. Another thing you can do, mason jars or any of those glass jars. You can use it for different kind of gifts. If you're giving like food, like cookies or whatever it is that you're giving, really, you can just put it in a jar. There's so many options of things that you probably have lying around your house and you don't know what to do with them, that you can use them to wrap a present. So I think it's just that, be creative, have fun, do your research, and just remember, it's about enjoying the holiday. It's about having a good time and showing people love and appreciation. But also, you can do it while at the same time looking after the Mother Earth and looking after the environment, which is always, at least for people like Anna and I, that's like our main goal and priority.
It's good to keep spreading the message. If you trust, I mean, if you are into this, it's not about giving up and say whatever, I'm giving this to somebody that don't appreciate it. You don't want to bother people, but you also want to keep sending the message because it's important. And you know when people is gonna receive it in the way that you want, and you don't know when people is gonna start to doing their first step. And as you probably experiment yourself, when you do the first step, the second one comes automatically, and so on.
And also kids, it's kids lead by example. Show them little things that they can do. Maybe not all presents can be sustainable, environmentally friendly, but if they can do that one little thing that can show them, how to be a better citizen and a better person for the environment, I think that really helps. And those are the kind of things that just stay with them. So I think that is our concluding thought. And we hope that you have an amazing holidays and a new year. We will be back next year. We don't know exactly when, but between January and February, we will be back. I'm pretty sure that we have plenty more to talk about. If you have any ideas or if you can think of anything, let us know. Also, we will probably do a Spanish special again next year. Well, a few, but at the beginning of the year. So have an amazing time, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Happy
Bye-bye.
holidays. Bye.